Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into the microphone. Why? Well, just because I can, and I continue with Deus Ex Invisible War Blind. We're trying to figure out what's going on in the Tarsus Academy, which apparently... Oh no, my greatest enemy in video games, a ladder. Okay, that was relatively painless. What's that? Handle with care, personal and material damage may be caused by improper usage. This container holds hazardous materials and must be handled according to the applicable regulations of such materials. Control meter to the left determine if contents are stable. So I kind of wonder if I can break it. Let's check that, but before I do... Does not seem that it's changing the meters in any way, so I guess they are just for show, or my weapon isn't sophisticated enough to actually destroy it. Biomaterials, okay. I must say the maps are really small in this one. Like, maybe it's also another legacy of the game being developed for consoles, because the consoles at the time really didn't have the hardware to handle. Okay, I guess that's another crash then. I'm really not going to be friends with this game. Well, I must say I'm definitely not impressed with the game from the technical standpoint. I've only been playing for like an hour and already had 2 hard crashes, so here's to hoping it's going to redeem itself in the plot and the atmosphere departments, because if not, then I can foresee myself getting quite annoyed at it in the long run. Well, let's try the door again. And the order is led by His Holiness, with Augurs next in hierarchy. That's weird. Augur is actually a Latin word, and it was a kind of a priest, but also kind of a seer in ancient Rome. And what Augurs did was they interpreted omens. Whenever the Romans wanted to undertake something important, they would check with the omens, with the Augurs, to see if the gods favored this endeavor. You know, they had really varied methods of divination. Like, for example, probably the creepiest and weirdest was the usage of animal carcasses to divinate. So, for example, they caught a bird and then they disemboweled it and they tried to read the future from its entrails. It actually has a name, but I forgot it. I'm going to put it in the description. Yeah, but the Romans were kind of crazy. Despite their overall, you know, sophistication and advancement as a civilization, there's still many elements of their society that were pretty bonkers. Okay, multi-tool.
We are here to rescue you from an inhumane scientific experiment. Hear us. You have been brainwashed. Reject Tarsus and the tyrants who established it.
Well, actually, it's kind of weird because on one hand they're saying how they want to free me from tyranny, but on the other they were using sharp ammunition against me and clearly trying to kill me. So that doesn't really gel well. Although I guess if you are a religious fanatic, then you could argue that killing someone is essentially freeing them in a metaphysical sense. Well, let's check the data cubes. Passive mods do not require activation. Okay, so it's basically what was the augmentations from the first one? Regeneration, vision, speed, cloak. Okay, spy drone.
Are securing the building on foot, and we have
Undocumented illegal. So I guess maybe I'll have a chance to find those during game or something. And I guess there are different sites, much as there were in the first game. You know, each part of your body can have different augmentations that augment the function of that particular body part.
Grab your security systems to neutralize threats to our cause.
You've already seen the lab, so I guess it won't hurt anything for you to install a few biomods. You'll be needing them. The canisters will transfer seed populations of nanites into subregions of your body. You will need to configure each subpopulation for a specific skill. For instance, the actin drivers in your legs can either increase your speed or quiet your footsteps, not both.
It's a little late for a seminar on my biomod architecture.
The Tarsus program may be unconventional, but trust me, we take care of our trainees.
The people attacking Tarsus, are they the ones responsible for Chicago? What's going on?
The Order is an intolerant cult. They hate multinational corporations and the private security forces that protect them.
Which means me.
Exactly, but I don't think they were involved with Chicago. They're a worldwide organization, not a band of terrorists.
Doesn't look that way to me.
Many organizations would like to see us fail. That's perhaps all I should say for now.
Why should I trust someone who spies on me in my own apartment?
We keep our operations secret for a reason, Alex. Don't expect a full debriefing while you're still in danger of being captured. Now install your biomods and get out of there.
Well, to be honest, the protagonist and her are both surprisingly calm given the situation. Like, I would be a lot more freaked out if I found out that I've been actually living in a cage for past whatever years.
Order be praised. May Her Holiness watch over and guide you.
Okay, so B to display, blah blah blah. So it's much like in the first game. You have two options for each location, and I guess I have three different ones. Did I read it? 5 slots. I think it's also the same. I am kind of disappointed at the lack of skills. Okay, so how do I... So, can I use one of the canisters to install whichever one of those? Not quite sure. Well, I'm going to save just in case I screw something up. Okay, so regeneration was absurdly powerful in the first game. So I think I'm going to go with that. Now, what else would I... Okay, enhanced strength. Oh, non-lethal darts at all targets. That's actually... Okay, this is probably useless because turrets are going to kill people, and I would like to avoid that. I'm kind of torn between this one because it's passive, increases carrying capacity, and I would presume that it also increases my non-lethal damage. You know, using the baton. I'm going to think on it a while, but okay, hacking security computers definitely seems like something that would be useful, like for disabling cameras or turrets or something, but the cloak was also really powerful in the first game. Okay, that's potentially kind of useful, but then again, in the first game, when you attacked bots with melee weapons, they exploded and sometimes killed you. And I'm also not going to extend my no-killing rule to bots because it seems kind of nonsensical, so might as well blow them up. Okay, I'm kind of torn between this one and this one. Okay, you know what? The drone at least sounds more interesting. No lethal, okay. And I think I'll go with the neural interface to hack the computers. This seems like it could be taken care of with like a hazard suit or something. It actually requires a black market canister because it's forbidden technology. That's interesting. Wow, that's really gruesome. It breaks down corpses and uses them for reconstructive healing. I'm not going to use that because that seems like something that is 100% fatal to the victim, and I'm going for a non-lethal playthrough, so... Actually, can I just flat out upgrade something? Yep. I'm foreseeing that this is going to be very useful overall. It definitely was in the first game, so...
Enjoy. Even though they run on normal energy cells, your systems are far more efficient than the standard piezo-chem architecture. Now get down to the street. The elevator on this level uses the lab's general access code. 3
But actually, what's the hotkey for that? Like, I'm not quite sure. Cycle weapons, blah blah blah. Data vault, biomods, okay. F1 to F6. So F1 is light, right?
Rescue them from an inhumane scientific experiment. Hear us. You have been brainwashed. Reject Tarsus and the tyrants who established it.
Okay, that's one of the scientists I saw before.
May Her Holiness watch over and guide you.
Trust me, Tarsus has a strict policy against voyeuristic behavior by our researchers. Your living quarters were observed only to ensure that our graduates show no behavioral abnormalities after the biomod infusion procedure.
Yeah, I kind of don't trust that at all. Subject General, that's us. So they were monitoring our sleep, which already kind of contradicts what she said. Anything to say?
The terrorists reprogrammed our security, and that turret up there means business. So we're trapped because the Augurs out there taking down scientists.
There's got to be some way to outsmart a camera.
If you can sneak past the camera or take it out with EMP, you'll be fine. As soon as that camera catches sight of a target, the turret opens fire.
Sounds easy enough. Do you want to follow me through?
I'm not willing to take that risk, but you guys are trained for that sort of thing. I'm just supposed to be quietly observing students and taking notes from behind the glass. Hopefully backup will show up soon and rescue me, but you don't have that luxury. You cannot let yourself be captured.
Okay, have it your way.
May Her Holiness watch over and guide you.
Seekers closing in, and our own security system turned against us. We're trapped.
Okay. So I guess she's not coming.
This is the order. We are now in control of this facility.
I'm not sure why would I need a fire extinguisher, but then again, okay, when camera detects blah blah blah, highly resistant to bullets, EMP attacks, multi-tools. Okay. So let's...
Our seekers are securing the building on foot. We have reprogrammed your security systems to neutralize threats to our cause.
Why doesn't it... Ah, okay, because there's a switch.
We are here to rescue you from an inhumane scientific experiment. Hear us.
Okay, that doesn't really
Reject Tarsus and the tyrants who
work.
established it.
Okay, that's right mouse button. To be honest, it probably was a waste. I just wanted to test how it worked. I could have easily slipped past it actually. Energy cell, blah blah blah, bioenergy supply. Okay, so it's also also similar to the first game.
We are now in control of this facility.
So I guess the turret will not activate provided it didn't get info from the camera.
Our seekers are securing the building on foot. We have reprogrammed your security systems to neutralize threats to our cause.
Numbers just don't.
You must be the captain who goes down with the ship.
In a manner of speaking. We won't hand our research over to fanatics, not without a fight.
Something's happening. Another squad of terrorists.
Where?
Right below us. They're going through the apartments.
You sure you're gonna stay and fight?
If our enemies capture this facility, they'll learn how you were made. Stand by us, Alex. You're the one with combat training. Maybe you could handle the intruders before they reach my companion and me.
Is this entire facility for studying us, the trainees? Was I under the microscope in Chicago, too?
Biomodification is more involved than you might imagine, Alex. This facility was for your protection.
You know my name.
I better know a lot more than that if my code is going to be regulating protein synthesis in the cells of your body.
Okay, so I have to protect them. It might actually be a good moment to test how the...
I don't think this bot should be offline.
Why did you... Why did they come out? It doesn't seem like...
Business!
Lucky shot. Ow, just wait till it's your turn.
Doesn't seem like the
Don't take
wisest
more than
idea.
that.
Put yourself in the open like that. Okay, so one of them is unconscious. What about the other? Did it kill it or kill him or? I hope not. Nope. Also unconscious. But I wasted most of my bioelectricity.
Systems to neutralize threats to our cause.
Well,
Well
anything
done,
to say?
Alex. I just read in your file that of all the trainees, Dr. Nassif picks you as the most likely to support our objectives. She appears to have been right.
When do I find out what this program is all about?
When we have you safe inside another Tarsus facility, we can no longer protect ourselves in North America.
So the research is happening all over the world?
First, let's get you out of here. I can't offer you much, but I was just repairing this silencer for Leo. Maybe you could make use of it.
Thanks.
That should fit most firearms. Good luck. Be careful of our turrets and alarms. The terrorists have reprogrammed them.
Well, actually, that's kind of useless for me.
You program the biomods?
Our corporate sponsors do most of the junior level applications work. My contribution, minor as it may be, was to the chromatin synthesis module in the core architecture.
What sponsor? The company I'm supposed to go to work for?
I think you'd better get out of here before one of these fanatics puts a red hood on your head. Admirable display of force. You were trained well.
You must be wondering if there is a connection between this attack and Chicago. I don't think so.
So I wonder if the drone remains indefinitely before I dismiss it or something. Well, I guess I just answered my own question. It's definitely useful. I just wasn't too great with actually employing it, but I guess I'm going to learn over
The order
time.
reprogrammed our security system. We're stuck here unless we can get past the beam trigger.
What's it do? Trip an alarm?
Are you kidding? This is a top secret lab. Those are gold beams. They're set up to flatline a person in about a quarter second.
Is there another way out?
I guess this room might have a ceiling vent or something, but that won't do me any good. I'm claustrophobic. If you've got a multi-tool, you might try hacking the control panel next to the beams, or disable it with an EMP weapon, or something else that might work. Just blow the whole thing up with a grenade. It's red beams that trip alarms, and green ones that trigger gas bombs.
Okay, good to know.
The colored light is holographic in nature, just a way to intimidate intruders. The laser beams themselves are invisible.
Bunsen burner. Actually, it would be kind of cool if using illegal biomods actually harmed you in the long run, like because they were untested or something. I guess I'm going to find out eventually. I'm not going to hack it for now because maybe once I save this guy.
I was on my way out when they hacked the security.
Okay, better not throw around explosive
I feel
crates
so helpless
because...
standing here, waiting to be gunned down by some fanatic.
Well, excuse me while I steal your equipment. Okay, so that's a vent. No, 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 no. So only one multi-tool? But I guess I do need to rescue the guy.
Have some respect.
What? What are you talking about?
Thanks. I think I'll hide out upstairs. The Order Church is in big trouble if they finally give in to the absolutists.
It's actually different in the subtitles. It said
Her Holiness
radicals.
has run into trouble by taking a more moderate line towards scientific research.
Oh, so it's her Holiness.
I guess the devout
I didn't
seekers want a
pay
strict
attention at
interpretation of
first.
the scriptures, written around the time of the collapse. You see these absolutists in the news. They want a crusade against the rest of us.
So I guess they are opposed to augmentation in general? And maybe...
I feel so helpless standing here, waiting to be gunned down by some fanatic.
Well, I just rescued you, so you could...
It's red
you know.
beams that trip alarms, and green ones that trigger gas bombs.
Well, excuse me while I steal this.
Find a different way to amuse yourself.
Okay, so I found one of those black market
Colored light
biomods.
is holographic in nature, just a way to intimidate intruders. The laser beams themselves are invisible.
That's kind of nonsensical when you think about it, because if the light was just for display, then why did it even exist? Like, you would think it would be more effective as a trap and as a security measure if the attackers didn't know that there was a trap. But then again,
I was on my way out when they hacked the
also,
security.
the player also wouldn't know, so... Like, I understand why it was this way, but what I don't understand is the explanation. Okay, that's some kind of a security bot. Let's try. Multi-tool. No. Oh great, I'm a freaking idiot. I naturally assumed, with the guy talking about the bots being reprogrammed and whatnot, that it's going to be a hostile bot, but apparently it was a medbot that I probably could have used because I'm quite hurt. Oh, I wonder if this actually leads to the... yeah, right. So it would make no sense to waste the multi-tool for that. What was that? Bioelectric cell. Well, I guess I turned into a common thief at this point, but it's just the way. Okay. Guess you don't really reload the pistol, or at least not until your clip is empty or something. Because pressing R didn't really. I'm just checking to see if I didn't miss anything. You know what? I've picked up a black market canister, so I might use it to install the neural interface. Although having read about the canisters, I wonder if that was foreshadowing for them being harmful in some way, but well, if I'm going to risk it. Wait, that's a turret, eh? For a second I thought that was a camera, but the camera is actually down there.
Tracking infrared disturbance.
I didn't think it was able to see me up here, but apparently it is.
Suspicious activity.
Anomaly. Threat identified.
For Her Holiness!
Instruments out of range.
Okay, I must say I'm probably the worst covert operator in the history of the universe. I would like to explore the part downstairs, but I'm kind of worried about the camera. Okay, I think that's another one of those security bots. That's cool.
Strange.
Is there another trooper here? Yep.
Tracking infrared disturbance.
And I'm almost dead. So is there anything here?
Anomaly detected.
I guess the bot would have been released if I activated the alarm or something, because it didn't open on its own when I closed in.
I'm Divination. High Augur to Her Holiness. We can't protect you in Upper Seattle. You will have to come to our church, then we can talk more.
Protect me from who?
Dr. Nassif, she will try to recapture you.
No one forced me into the covert ops program.
That's because you never tried to leave. Believe me, you would have been killed the second you let down those scientists. The ones posted around your bedroom back there.
The only killers I've seen so far are your order troopers.
I apologize. My overzealous captain disobeyed orders. He was instructed to mount a rescue.
You can't control your own people?
The church suffers from certain internal disputes. I can explain more later. Hurry, Alex. You'll find us in the old Hartford turbine factory in Lower Seattle.
Okay, that story is also kind of fishy. Like, as Alex himself said, if that was supposed to be a rescue, then they weren't too good at it. Like, they were literally trying to murder me a second ago. Let's save, because I have a nasty suspicion that the game might crash. It likes to do that on changing levels. Well, I must have jinxed it because the game just crashed again. I must say I'm not exactly enamored with the perspective of enduring that for another like 20 hours or something, but I'm nothing if not persistent. Okay, that's interesting. 20 years ago, the Illuminati convinced Dissident to neutralize Bob Page, so I guess that tells me that the first game took place 20 years ago. Okay, so I already have a choice between well, I guess just hearing them out isn't really binding for me, like but there are already two factions sort of on display. That's interesting. Apparently the map was created by the Order, so excuse me. So it must be a pretty like, first of all, it must not be a covert organization, but rather something that acts out in the open. But also, it must be pretty well, all-encompassing to bother with such matters.
Do not approach the checkpoint. What's going on? Why am I the one being questioned? I just escaped from a raid on Tarsus.
Let the WTO handle this disturbance. Just answer my questions. Who do you work for? All non-enclave workers must leave the area until security can be restored.
That's one of them.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay, you can pass, but you're instructed to report immediately to Chief Morgan at the WTO air terminal.
Is something wrong?
Just move along so we can seal off the area.
You'll be safe in the WTO enclave. Whatever you do, don't go down the inclinator into Lower Seattle. The Order terrorists are strong there.
Yeah. So I guess I already have conflicting objectives, because I can either report to the WTO, which I still don't know what that stands for, but if I had to guess, I would say World Trade Organization or something, or World Transhumanism Organization, or the Church. Now, I think I'll go with the Order just because it seems more interesting. Like, the Tarsus Academy have been keeping me in the dark for the past whatever years, and running experiments on me, and the Order at the very least seems to want to convince me, so I might as well give them a chance.
Are you sure you've got the right person?
I just spot faces. They didn't tell me what you did.
I'm sure Chief Morgan knows what she's doing.
What do you mean? I didn't do anything.
Tell it to the Chief.
Yeah, tell it to the Chief.
I said, tell it to the Chief.
The train station's around the bend. Just follow the upper sidewalk.
I must say, I prefer...
We've gotten past the checkpoint. Good. Now forget everything those troopers just said. I trust the WTO about as much as I now trust Tarsus. If you need further proof of the program's duplicity, you should stop by Nassif's apartment. I got the address when I broke into her office. Apartment 2224, Emerald Suites. I'm transmitting a map of the complex to you now.
Okay, I'll definitely do that because it seems like it could yield some important information. But what I was about to say is,
Get out of Upper Seattle while you can. The WTO could decide to arrest you at any moment. You can reach the lower districts via the inclinator at the northwest corner of the enclave.
I definitely think that JC had a lot more charm about him than Alex does. Like, sure, JC was kind of cringy in his delivery sometimes because he was so deadpan, but it was also kind of hilarious, so I think I overall preferred that. Okay, let's take a look at the map actually. I'm hilariously bad with directions overall, so penthouse, blah blah blah. Ah, that's just the map of the emerald suits, but this is the map of the. Okay, so I came out here. It's not that complicated, really. Or is it? I guess the emerald suits are on the upper level. This would be. City center. Because it only says upper level here and inclinator here, but the inclinator goes further down where the church is located, so well, I guess I'm going to walk around regardless. It's a rat. No danger, blah blah blah. No parking, rather.
Go away, man. Talk to Red. He's the friendly one.
Okay, so I guess it's got some kind of a black market.
What for? You live here? It's my first time topside. What's a good place to go shopping?
Easy, Red. Mr. P said to lay low.
You deaf? I said I want to get me a fly leather outfit like the one you're wearing.
Come on, man. Back off. Why every time we do a job, you gotta skits and get us all fired?
P said stand here. I'm standing here, and now I want to go shopping. Only thing is I can't afford the Phoebesville markup. That's where you come
in. To be honest, I don't feel like if he just talked with me politely, I could have lent himself some money for information, but to be honest, I don't feel particularly friendly. Then again, I also don't feel like I'm ready for a fight because I'm quite beat up, so...
No problem. Just let me run to the ATM first.
Do I look stupid?
Just let it go, Red. Pick a fight up here, you're on your own, man. I got us this job and I plan to collect.
Alright, you get one chance. But next time you're making a donation, I want to get my sick mama a present.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to heal. You can also check how much energy. Yeah, it's quite costly. But at least the energy cells actually restore a lot of my energy. Wanted to check how costly the regeneration is. Okay, let's save.
I'll be waiting.
I didn't bust into the Enclave to meet people. Get moving, Phoebe.
You're starting to push your luck.
Okay, what's... Okay, that's the inclinator. So it's not where I want to go at the moment. Wait, my inventory is full already? I only have this much space? That's kind of ridiculous. I guess I can drop the knife because I'm going for a non-lethal solution, so... And the candy bars aren't that useful either. Oh, can be used to blind enemies. That's interesting. I'll keep the pistol just in case.
I bet you think this is a big joke.
It might end up the same as it did in the first game, where I at the point
your actions will be recorded.
Was unable to keep up with my non-lethal playthrough. Soliciting not allowed. Coffee shop.
The new
Let's
face
check
of
the...
hate. They call themselves the Knights Templar and claim to be descended from Hudepan and the Temple of Solomon. They say that their war against the augmented and genetically engineered humans is a war against infidels. If the human body is a sacred book, then no organization has burned more scripture than the Templars. Stop the hate. Report all Templar activity before it's too late for your community. Cash reward for information leading to the identification of Templar high priests.
I don't remember if the Templars were actually an organization in the first game as well. There were a couple of organizations classified as terrorist organizations in the first game, you know, NFS, Silhouette, and whatever.
But have a column for acts of terror. Kind of messes with the Pequotino price point.
That bad?
I charge almost double compared to Queequeg's coffee in Lower Seattle. Why? Terrorism, taxes, rent.
Rent, I hear you. The WTO shouldn't ration construction permits.
You're telling me. I know a guy who works at Symmetria. He says nanoformers could rebuild all of Seattle in about 5 years.
It's a shame.
To hell with an economic shock. People want the new cities and they want them now.
So it sounded almost like the corporations are postponing the rebuilding of the cities to squeeze more money out of the people or something? Not quite sure what the guy was implying there. New called, blah blah blah.
Just checking up on my investment.
I guess business is a little slow because of the terrorist attack down the block.
Could be. Clive here was just telling me about it. Tarsus Academy, right? Usually the order goes after the inclinator.
Business is always about the same, since you asked. That's what I was saying. You can barely make a profit up here because of the high rent.
Yeah, I wouldn't have to pull so much volume if I had a branch in Lower Seattle. What's it to you?
Just curious. The Pequod's in my hometown was always packed.
Personally, I think it's about time Lower Seattle, Queequeg's Coffee in particular, got their own taste of terror.
I hear you. Have something specific in mind?
Not that I'd want to see anyone get hurt, but I'd pay to see someone break in and set fire to their inventory of coffee beans.
Nice.
That's arson.
Very perceptive. You look like one of those Tarsus kids who hang around here. They do the job, maybe just lob a grenade in there or something. Interested in a little adventure?
I'd have to think about it.
The Queequeg's manager lives in apartment 21 of the Heron's Loft building. I bet you could find the code to the shop there. Careful, though. He's always loafing around at home, since he doesn't have to do the 24-hour shtick like us.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. That seems like a very douchey thing to do, and I'm already a thief, so I'd rather not be an arsonist as well.
If you're half the operative Leo is, you'll go for it.
Oh, so apparently Leo Jankowski is already an acquaintance here.
I'll be right here.
To be honest, he sounded like the kind of a guy who would do this, but... Resonance... What? That's the origin story for coffee, apparently. Weird. Okay, it's borderline strange to have this whole area in a cafe where all you have are books about coffee. There's another one here. I already read that about Seattle. Okay, let me take a look at the map again. So I've been in this part already, and this, so I guess I'll check this, and then the only thing left will be the upper level, which I guess will contain the suits, the suites rather.
Citizens, we have been accused of over-engineering our economy. Well, this is the legacy we inherited from J.C. Denton.
Oh.
J.C. Denton, the solitary criminal mind that precipitated the Great Collapse and showed us just how fragile the old system was. But how, you ask? Just a rumor, you say? No. My investigators have uncovered proof underground at Area 51 that he was not working for the United Nations, and in fact that there never was a global terror network. He acted alone. Even the recent Chicago disaster pales in comparison to his crimes. Trust the WTO's cautious policies. They protect civilization from madness itself.
So they are apparently running a smear job against JC.
Every day I hear more rumors in the media. Order fanatics want to destroy the Enclave system. Terrorists are planning attacks in the night. The Order and WTO are locked in an endless, invisible war. Not so, citizens. Her Holiness and I are meeting this week in Trier, Germany, to negotiate better relations. We do not condemn religion, nor do they condemn free enterprise. We will find common ground. Have faith in me.
So I guess this is a spokesman for the WTO or something? Anything to say?
I don't think I know you.
Oops, I
I have
interrupted.
on my desk here in Geneva a petition. A petition from the citizens of Upper Seattle for more real estate, a bigger enclave, a larger population. I assure you that my staff is carefully considering the next step for your community. You are correct that symmetry and nanoformer processes make high-rise construction trivial, but there are other concerns, such as stabilizing the value of the property you already own.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like...
Let me take a moment to praise the Seattle delegates who attended our conference on establishing a world compass. Every day brings us closer to transitioning from city-states to nationhood. Soon, citizens, we will live in the first worldwide democracy.
Oh, that's actually... I'm kind of curious to listen to all he has to
and
say.
the WTO, an exciting past and a glorious future. Be proud, Seattle. You are an example to the world.
I don't want to miss anything, but he actually said a couple of very interesting things.
Citizens, we have been accused of over-engineering our economy.
Okay,
Well, this is the legacy we inherited from
already
J.C.
heard
Denton.
that.
J.C. Denton, a solitary criminal mind that precipitated the Great Collapse and showed us just how fragile the
And I
old
guess
system was. But how, you ask?
this leads to the upper city.
No, my investigators have uncovered proof underground at Area 51 that he was not working for the United Nations. And in
Okay,
fact,
it's kind of annoying how loud that is.
he acted alone. Even the recent
Because I wanted to talk about what he said. Like, first of all, he mentioned that there are city-states, so I guess most or maybe all of the nations of the world actually collapsed as a result of what the JC did in the Area 51. So I guess the new Dark Age is actually the canon ending, which makes me feel good in a way because that's the ending I chose. What else? And yeah, he was also talking about, like, he was trying to spin a story, but I guess it kind of confirms what the guy at the coffee shop was talking about, that they have the technology to procure really cheap housing, but they don't want to because they want to maximize their profit. So they're kind of, spinning a story about stabilizing prices and whatnot. Okay, I'm kind of getting lost again. I didn't... Yeah, I don't have a map of the upper levels. somewhat methodical in exploring those. Okay, you know what? I'm going to check out the metro and then probably end the episode because it's been long enough. Okay, that's a vent.
New fare, 5 times the old.
5 times? That's quite an increase.
Uh-huh.
Wow. That's a really expensive ticket, so I'm not going to buy it yet because I don't really know if I need it at the moment. I don't even think I have that many.
Don't WTO policies discourage price fluctuations?
Huh?
You know, the zoning rules, licensing procedures, the constant monitoring of markets. A 5-fold price hike is pretty unusual.
Well, I'm not too political.
You trying to make a quick buck or something?
No, man. Lay off that script. I'm just selling passes.
Take it easy.
Uh-huh.
Keep moving.
Wait. It's kind of weird that it has a metro trams to what seems to be another cities entirely. Is it actually a thing in the States? Like, I always thought that a metro is supposed to be, you know, a part of a single metropolitan system, you know, servicing one city or something, but here it seems like it's almost a train. Well, it is essentially a train, sort of, but what I mean is I didn't realize that service that runs between other cities can also be a metro. Interesting. Okay, I don't want to hack that. And I suppose crossing that is probably going to kill me, right? Yeah, I did a save just before that. I just wanted to check. That's all for this episode. It's been long enough, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye.